Hello everybody, it's time for an update on a game that I've been kind of off and on reviewing since about January. It is a game by Bugbear Studios called Next Car Game, and it actually has a subtitle now called Wreckfest. So, who knows, maybe it's eventually going to be called Wreckfest without the Next Car Game part. Anyway, here we are, we're back in our garage to take a look at our cars. The first thing I notice as being different from the last time I dived in is that you have more cars at the bottom. Looks like a sedan, European car, European coupe, American Muscle, American Muscle 2. Alright, pretty reasonable level of choice there. It does look like eventually we'll have more options. That doesn't really do anything, it looks like. Okay, so let's take a look here. Here's a car. In the garage, we do get the ability to zoom around our cars. Da, 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 da. There you are. Okay, you've probably seen that before, so no big deal. Next thing we want to look at is what can we do to our car. This has changed a little bit. So we look in here. These are all the parts that we can change, in theory. Engine, there's a couple options here. We've got a 302, not the 396. Now, if you look here, there's these options to sell parts. And if you look up here, we now have money, and we have experience. We didn't have that before, so that is cool. It doesn't really mean anything right now, though, because once you exit the game, any of this you've gained or lost is gone. And in fact, you don't lose anything. I can switch between any engine that I want. It doesn't cost anything. And you get the information over there. While I'm pointing that out, this little area, right now you can read it pretty well. But let's go in here. Let's select that, go back, get out of there. Close that, please. Okay, so let's just scroll around a little bit. Okay, let's say we're in, that right there. A little difficult to read, don't you think? But it gets worse. Go in, let's look at suspension. Standard suspension. Well, what's the information about it? Oh, it's right there. You can't read that. It does this on all of them. It does depend on how you have the camera angle set, but if you're going to have the ability to move the camera angle around, to me, and in my design mind, you want this box to be readable from every angle. So a simple solution would be simply put it in a sub box, a grayed out box. It could be transparent, I don't care. Just, it needs something more consistent as a background than just whatever happens to be on your screen. Because if you've got it, if you're looking, if I can control it, like that, yeah, you're going to be able to read everything pretty well. But you may not always have it like that. So that's just something to keep in mind. So anyway, back to the change parts screen. Some of these you can change now. Brakes and tires, you don't seem to have that option anymore to change. Not sure if that's going to come back. Yeah, it probably will. Otherwise, I don't know why they'd be there. But anyway, your paint, different styles. I don't think any of these things have really changed since the original, so let's go with that. Okay, so there's our car. Let's take a look at it. That's pretty mean looking. It's a Camaro Pontiac hybrid of some type. It's a ZS or Z5. Superior. That must be what the S stands for. Okay, so let's get into the actual nuts and bolts of the game. Let's race. So we come up here, we have our options, of course. The original track is this one, the Derby Stadium or Small Stadium. Was there a Small Stadium? Maybe not. Anyway, they've added Mud Pit, which is nice. Mud Pit derbies are more what I'm used to growing up. That's what we always had. Figure 8, that's still there. Gravel race, tarmac, sand pit, and now a speedway option, which kind of puts you in a, I guess, NASCAR-like feel. So anyway, here you go. You have variants to each one. You can do a figure 8 or an oval on that, and there's other options. Event type. Right now you only have the option for banger race, which basically I think means smash into each other and try to race at the same time. Opponents, you can change that number of laps. Weather random, I've yet to actually have it do anything other than sunny. So, let's Let's do a stormy evening. Let's see what happens there. And you're shifting, braking, control, traction control, blah, blah, all that's there. You may play with that as you feel necessary. Let's, though, go over to a good old-fashioned stadium derby and see what we can do. Normally when I play this without any recording software running, it runs 60s, even above 60 at times. And I'm running a GTX 460. It's a few years old, but just straight out of the box, it runs this pretty well. So if you got anything better than that, I think you'd be in good shape. I don't know if it's just Bandicam not playing well with the software or vice versa or what the deal is, but you see, you know, the frame rate is dropping down there in the low 20s, 16 there for a moment. And you'll see that during the race, so don't let that throw you. The actual game does play much better. Here we go, jumping in. Alright. Let's see how long we can last here. Oh! That's not good. Get a little love tap there. Bring it about. Now I'm using the controller to do this. I recommend the controller greatly. I'm not a big controller person, but for this game, it gets the thumbs up. You can see my car damage over there to the left. I'm in pretty bad shape, so probably one good hit is going to kill me. And I haven't taken anyone down yet, but I am in 12th position if I die right now. Control is getting difficult. Back up there. Let's see if we can... Oh, it didn't knock me out. Excellent. So let's try to get someone here. Oh! Not what I was wanting to do, but that's alright. And always watch out for the parked cars. This is a little more difficult right now, just because of the frame rate dropping. Okay, there we go. Finished 11th. Didn't take anyone out. Now, this is something new that wasn't in the game in previous versions. You get a results screen. Before it just said where you were, dumped you back to the garage. Now you get this. It kind of shows you achievements, I guess, that you might have acquired. There's money tied to each of them. I didn't get any of those. Here I am, placed 11th. Class B, 156. I don't know what that means. Each of the cars have a different class with number next to them that changes based on what components you upgrade or downgrade in the car. But again, if you look here, everyone's is pretty much different. So I don't really know how that plays into anything or what it really means. And then this just tells you what kind of car it was. You look over here, I think under a normal race, this is actually your time, but under a demolition derby, I'm not really sure what it does. Maybe it's the number of cars you've taken out. Yeah, that doesn't seem right either. I don't know what it is. And then there's your score for the competition. So you can see you can have a higher score than someone, but not necessarily beat them because, you know, when you get knocked out. Alright, so down here at the bottom, we've got 3 options. Pretty self-explanatory, kinda. Continue just takes you back to the garage, where I would assume when the game is finished, you'll have the option to repair your car, make any changes, and continue on your circuit. Right now, if you just hit it, you go back to the garage, the car is repaired. Yep, you know, no big deal. Restart, restarts this exact same race. See how well you can do. View replay is new, and it's very interesting. We're going to take a look at that right now. Okay, so here is the replay screen. What it is just a way of playing back your race, but in a more cinematic means. So you start here and you hit play. So it's the beginning of the race, and you're off. Now it will automatically jump through different camera angles, as you can see, as you drive around. But the cool thing is, you can go in here to select a camera, and let's go to spherical. So you'll always be at the center of a, you know, theoretical graphic effect of a sphere. You can follow your car, you can be in the cockpit, on the hood, which I think is pretty cool. around, there's also, you can follow other cars. Do that for any of the other races. It looks like the max is 24. Maybe 24 is the max that can be in a race. I don't know exactly. That's cool. There's lens effects. You can affect the zoom in and out. Make the very distance blurry. All sorts of things you can play with there. So that's pretty cool. Of course, you can stop it. From in here, you can play with all your settings, etc., etc. Anyway, so yeah, let's get out of this because we're done playing with that part. Yes, we want to quit the replay. There doesn't seem to be a way to save the replay, which isn't a big deal if you have recording software, but yeah, otherwise, that might not be a bad option to throw in there for people who might want to do that. So let's go ahead and continue. Okay, so there we are. We're dropped back in the garage. The car is repaired, and we are ready to dive in once again. Quickly, let's talk about a few things. Let's talk about the good. The controls are still pretty good. The big cars handle a lot better than they used to. Yeah, and contact with other cars actually feels good. There is a nice feedback. You get good feedback on it. It does support vibration control, and I have mine turned on. I just have an old Logitech generic USB controller. It works pretty well. There's more cars to choose from at this point, and again, I'm assuming there will be more in the future. And there is something they've added. Let's see here. Oh, it's up here. Multiplayer. Now, I've not tried the multiplayer quite yet. I didn't want to try it and try to record simultaneously with the frame rate being down in the dumps as much as it is with single player. But it does appear to be a few servers you can jump into and race. Same sort of stuff apply. You know, the major issue with that would be, since it doesn't save anything that you do, it really doesn't matter. But, you know, it's good for practice, and it looks like a good option that will be thrown in the game once completed. Another good option that this thing has, if you go into settings, into audio, you can change the audio of every single bit. This is very important. I talked about this in my first review because there is some music, but not too much, mainly in the loading screens. Effects, of course, car engine and AI engine. When you start this game, it is loud. Very, very loud. I even recommend turning this down, even if you're not recording. But recording, it was an absolute have to. So it's nice that those options are in there. Control options, you can set your keyboard. It appears as though everything is rebindable. Gamepad, it looks as though it's completely rebindable as well. And okay, it looks like you can do some controls with the controller. I was thinking you had to do some things with the keyboard, but maybe not. Alright, so anyway, get back here. Let's try one of the race. Let's do a European mid-engine car. And we're just going to leave it stock. Let's go race. Let's do an actual race. Let's go for it. Let's go for a speedway race in our little European Fiat/Mini. And here we are. It's just a small oval. Nothing too spectacular. So let's dive in. Oh, controls are a bit touchy on the little car. My grandma, that. Alright, well, that happened. Okay, there's reverse. Alright, let's try to catch up, everyone. Well, I can definitely say controls on the big cars are better. The little car, oh my god, it's touchy. Very touchy. Alright, you gotta just feather everything. That's the word of the day. Be very gentle, very cautious. You don't want to scare the little car. Otherwise, you will end up in the friggin' wall. Arrgh! And another nice touch is you can basically destroy the track to some degree. And these large chunks of concrete do damage to other cars. Ah. Alright now. That's just ridiculous. Alright. My car's barely running, so we're just going to go and screw with everyone else in the race. Since I am obviously ill-prepared to run this race in this car. We'll just play a little football. How about that? There you go. Punt me. There you go. Critically damaged in the infield. I guess you can go in here. I didn't realize that. Alright, so yeah, you can drive around in the infield. There's no one in here, of course, but yeah, that's still kind of cool. And my car is dying. Alright, we'll just stop right there for the moment, let the other cars pass, and continue talking about the game. Yeah, ugh, pretty mashed up. Yeah, so probably the little car takes a little more getting used to drive, especially if you've driven the big car. It should have some advantages by being a mid-engine car, but not for me at this exact time. So what do I think of the game? So far, I'm pleased. I was from the very beginning. There were a few updates in between then and now that when I jumped into it, the driving was just awful. They seemed to tweak some things a little too much. So I didn't do a review on it because they did a lot of updates, it seems like, between sometime in April and August. They came out with quite a few. You can check the Steam page. They talk all about it, and they're pretty transparent about it as well. So yeah. Which that does bring me to a point about early access gaming. And that is, you always need to be a little careful. I dove into this because I liked the look of it, and I thought, for the price, I'd take a chance. And, you know, I haven't been displeased with that decision. The company does seem to be putting out a reasonable number of updates for it, and are reasonably fixing things that I'm noticing as being problems. So that's good. That may not be the case with every early access title, because I think it's one of those things where the more people do it, the more different production companies put out early access titles, the likelihood is you're going to get more and more crappy games that are just not worth buying into early, or aren't worth buying, period. Because essentially what you're doing is you're paying for the right to get a beta, which does seem a little silly, but at the same time, it's kind of cool to be in on the early development of the game and to get to see it evolve. So, you know, that is kind of cool. I don't recommend doing early access on every game. Apparently that is a solid canvas. Anyway, I don't recommend doing a early access on just anything, because some games just aren't going to be worth it. I've actually done a couple others that I've regretted and wish I hadn't, and I may do a video on those just to make you aware of them. But this one, I'm happy. Even if I am driving a crappy little European car with horrible controls. It's getting better. That's all I can say about that. Again, remind you, the frame rate that you're seeing is not indicative of the actual game. The actual game does run really well. It just doesn't record that way. So, have I covered it? I think so. I think that pretty much does it for this little update review. Maybe I'll do another one in a couple months, maybe back in January. That'll be about a year since I originally got it. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Let's see where we're at. Still no sign of when this game actually is going to be officially released. Also don't really know what benefit early access people might have. Usually there's something. Maybe a special car, maybe some extra cash, I don't know. I'm sure there's some benefit to it, but is it worth it? Well, not for everyone. Alright, well, I think I am done here, racing around in the infield. Alright, well, thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please do leave them below, and don't forget to subscribe. That way I know what I'm doing is being watched, and that encourages me to make more content. So, there you go. Until next time, Thanks for watching.